Members, our veteran today is being sponsored by Representative Reniger. Representative Reniger, you're recognized to present the Veteran of the Week.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members in the gallery, members on the floor, I would like to, I'm just very, very honored to be able to honor Corporal ROYCE JACKSON. But before we do, there's some people that I'd like to recognize. First, I would like for his wife, Joyce Jackson, to stand. In the South Gallery, we have some friends and relatives of Royce's, his cousin Ronnie Kirkpatrick and his wife Karen. Will you please stand? Ronnie is a CPA in Norman, and you know what season it is right now, and so he took off to come here today. Also from McAlester, stand up with them, is Nancy Uliberry and her husband. I can't think of his name. Oh, it's Jimmy. Yeah, that's right. Jimmy Uliberry actually is the one that recommended to me whenever I was talking to him about having a Veteran of the Day, and he recommended Royce. Thank you all for being here today. Members, as you know, as a general rule, most heroes are humble, and Royce is no different than that. I want you to know that I've been in McAlester for 42 years, and until we wrote the citation, I had no idea what he had been through serving in Viet Nam. And I also found out this morning that this is the very first time he has ever worn these medals since they were given to him. And that just tells you how humble he is. Mr. Speaker, if I could, I'd like for ROYCE JACKSON to say a few words and then lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you like to read the citation first?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Clerk will read the citation.
Whereas ROYCE JACKSON is a resident of House District 17 in McAlester, Oklahoma, and proudly served our country in the United States Marine Corps from August 17, 1966 until January 28, 1969, when he was medically discharged. And whereas ROYCE JACKSON served in Mike Company, 3rd Battalion, 9th Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division, spent 13 months in Viet Nam, and was wounded just prior to coming home and spent 5 months in the hospital before being medically discharged. And whereas ROYCE JACKSON was awarded the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with 1 star, Vietnam Campaign Medal with device, Presidential Unit Citation, Bronze Star Medal with V, Purple Heart Medal, and with the Rifle Marksman badge for his service. And whereas upon receiving the Bronze Star, ROYCE JACKSON was cited as follows: for heroic achievement in connection with the operations against the enemy in the Republic of Vietnam while serving as fire team leader with Company M, 3rd Battalion, 9th Marines, 3rd Marine Division, on the afternoon of the 30th of April, 1968, Company M was participating in a search and destroy operation near Cam Lo in Quang Tri Province, when the unit suddenly came under intense mortar and automatic weapons fire from a large North Vietnamese Army force and was pinned down. During the ensuing firefight, the Marines sustained several casualties, including Corporal JACKSON'S squad leader. Unhesitatingly taking charge of the unit, he immediately maneuvered his men and directed devastating suppressive fire on the hostile emplacements, while skillfully coordinating the treatment and evacuation of casualties. Ignoring the enemy rounds impacting near him, Corporal JACKSON fearlessly led his men in an attack upon hostile fortifications, forcing the enemy to break contact. On the 1st of May, Company M came under heavy volume of hostile artillery fire. Continuing his determined efforts, Corporal JACKSON repeatedly disregarded his own safety while administering first aid to numerous wounded Marines. His bold initiative and sincere concern for the welfare of his comrades, inspired all who observed him, and were instrumental in saving the lives of several Marines. Corporal Jackson's courage, superior leadership, and steadfast devotion to duty in the face of great personal danger were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. And whereas because Corporal Royce Jackson is a true hero and deserving of the accolades and awards given to him, the Oklahoma House of Representatives of the 56th Legislature wishes to express most sincere respect for his service to our country and takes great pride in honoring Corporal Jackson as Veteran of the Week, April 16th, 2018. Now, therefore, pursuant to the motion of Representative Brian Reniger, the Oklahoma House of Representatives extends to Royce Jackson sincere congratulations and directs that this citation be presented.
Mr. Jackson, you're recognized to say a few words before you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I think they're talking about someone else doing all that stuff because I don't remember it. But no, they asked me to be here, and at first I said no, and then I started thinking about it, and if I don't get emotional, I'll try not to, so I'll do my best. But I thought I would do it for some Marines that I was with. And if you'll hold on just a minute. But these are some of the guys that died that were with me in battle. Thank you, pal. Oh, gosh. Sometimes Marines aren't tough. I don't know. I think I'm one of the sissy Marines, but no, these men fought, for what they believed in. Most of us, were from 18 to 20 years old at the time, and they had no really clue of the politics or whatever. All we knew is that our country said they needed us, and so we were there. So, and that was the only real reason we had. We had no other reason than just because our country asked us to do it, and we loved our country, so we were there. But these 9 men were special to me, and I know they were special to their families at home and whatever, but I've got them in the order that they were killed over the time that I was there. These are just my closest guys that I was with. We rolled a lot of other young Marines that you really didn't know or I couldn't remember their names and things, but they were there for a short time, or some of them had been there for quite a while, but they were in different platoons, different squads and stuff, and you knew them, but you really didn't know them. But a lot of those, there's too many to count how many of them died, but these 9 were real special to me. The first one was Michael Stephen Wilsford, and we were real buddies, and he would talk about driving down the freeway in his 65 Chevy and with his girlfriend when he got back home, telling me, and I knew the songs that him and his girlfriend liked, and we shared chow and received rations, and canteens of water together. And after he got killed, this was at a place called Conti. He got killed there, and old Keith Gerhardt, he died just stepping out of the trench that we had dug up there that in the monsoons, and it was wet, and he got up to go pee, and rocket round came in and killed him. But I was real close with him, and we were living there for over 30 days, and in the monsoons, well, he had a little hole dug back in the trench in the wall of this trench, and this was right up on the DMZ, as close to North Vietnam as you could get. But I never will forget that he had some stuff wrapped in some piece of a poncho that he had cut a square out of, and it was stuck back in the bank. And after he got killed, I got the stuff out, and I was looking to see what it was, and it was his wallet, and there was a little Bible in there, and it was his mother and father standing there with him being sworn into the Marine Corps. And he had his hand up, and his mother and father was by him, but we sent that back to his parents. And then Soren Prep, he had a twin brother, was Soren, and he was one of them guys like a Viking, big barrel-chested, red-headed, strong guy, but he had a twin brother that I met in Philadelphia back in the middle 80s. I finally went to the wall. This is where I got these names. It was off of the wall at Washington, D.C., but I met his twin brother, and they were identical twins. You couldn't have told one from the other. But Prep, he was a good guy. He got killed not 3 feet from me, you know, and this citation, he was one of them that got killed during the citation she just read. But James Bennett, he always wanted to be point, and finally he got to be point, but then a sniper got him while he was on point. And then O'Brien, he was a machine gunner, and we was running across some big open rice paddies, and he stepped in a hole and broke his ankle, and we put him up on a tank. So we couldn't carry him, but the tank carried him, but a sniper killed him off the tank. So, and Hammonds, he got an airburst from a enemy hand grenade, and he throwed his hands up before the grenade got to him, and it killed him. But he was a good friend. And Mason, Dennis Mason, he was from Cushing, Oklahoma, and we called him Lurch because he was made like the guy on the Addams Family. He had long fingers and tall, and he would always sneak up behind me and get me in a chokehold, you know. But we become good buddies because he is from Oklahoma, and he played basketball for Cushing. And I went to his grave just a couple of years ago and give him honors there. And Eddie Miller, he was a character, and Steve Wilder is one of the saddest ones. He was with me the whole time that when I first got to Viet Nam, and about 8 months into Vietnam, well, his wife had a baby, and his baby he had never seen. She had it while he was over there, and the baby was 8 months old, and he was always showing me pictures of that baby, you know, that his wife would send him over and over, and he was telling me everything that he was going to do when he got home to be with his son. So, but he didn't make it. One of them kind of deals. But But that's the reason I was here, and I'm sorry I got a little emotional, but I'm fine now.
Mr. Jackson, on behalf of the entire staff, we would like to thank you for your service in Vietnam. I know when you got home, you weren't a hero at the time, in at least the minds of a lot of people, and I think all of us here in Oklahoma sincerely appreciate your service, and thank you for being in Vietnam. Mr. Jackson, you're recognized to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice